Well, right now we continue our special coverage as results started trickling in. Of course, you heard from the IEC a short while ago announcing the first result. And just to recap very quickly, this is at the Bizana Baptist Church in Bizana in the Eastern Cape. The ANC garnering 61% of the vote. The EFF coming in at second, it's at 18%, increasing in that VD by 2%. The MK is at 10%, coming in third in this voting district. To get reaction right now, let's speak to the EFF. We are joined by the party's Secretary General, that's Marshall Dlamini. Marshall, still early days as the numbers start trickling in, but I'm sure you must be encouraged by the number or the first result that we see coming in right now. What are your immediate reactions?
No, thanks and greetings. Good morning to the viewers at home and the voters. We've seen the first result. We're fine. It's looking fine for us.
Yeah.
For the fact that the first result that came out, EFF got votes. To us, that is important because those results could have come out differently. There are a lot of parties there and they've got 0 votes. So for the fact that we've got 18 votes coming behind the ANC, it's encouraging for us. But look, we are happy with what has transpired today in terms of our people coming out to vote since morning, especially the youth, because we'd have known that in this country, for the last few past elections, there have been a lot of youth voter apathy.
Yeah.
For this time around, young people have showed up. They've come up, and as we speak now, they are still in the voting stations where we had challenges, which we've raised with the IEC, where there are people that have been stuck in voting stations since 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Now it's going close to 8 hours. People still stuck in the voting station because of IEC's unpreparedness, and we don't know what informs that, especially in the voting stations where they've got the voters' roll and they can see the numbers, that huge numbers are going to come in these voting stations in Durban, here in Gauteng, in Western Cape, in Eastern Cape, especially in the institutions of higher learning, because the registered voters there are high, but they did not prepare, and we've now put our voters, the people that all of us as political parties, including IEC, that we've been pleading with them that it's your democratic right, it's you must participate, you must come and vote. When they show up and then we don't demonstrate a sign of preparedness, and we're very disappointed with IEC on that, and we've raised it with them that as things stand now, you can't have someone standing there for almost 8 hours, and some of them they've even turned to go home. But what makes us happy is that young people of this country, they've taken a decision that they're going to stand and they're going to speak now. Because they've been quiet for long, they're going to speak, and that's why they are still in the stations as we speak. And they said, we're not going anywhere. If it means we're voting at 5 a.m., we're going to be here at 5 a.m. because we've got to make our voice heard.
Let's speak more about that. I want to take the words of your party leader, that's Julius Malema. He actually took time to wait in line today, not cut the queue, as often as we'd see with some officials. He went in, he stood in the line, waited with the people, and it took him hours and hours to make his mark. He cited there some disappointment, but he fell short of criticizing the IEC, saying he still has confidence in the electoral body, but he's simply not impressed with the kind of delays that we saw play out today. Give us your personal reflections.
Look, it was disappointing. He stood there close to 4 hours because of the kind of a leader that he is, that is a leader of the people and amongst people. He was no way was going to jump that queue. That's why he stood there, because he doesn't put himself beyond the people of South Africa or above them. He knew that he came to the voting station at that time, and there were people that were there way before him. That's why he stood patiently on that line. Like all other voters, he suffered that waiting period, which was disappointing, because IEC kept on assuring us as voters, as people of this country, that they are ready. They knew about this election, it was announced, they kept on saying they are ready, but they demonstrated they are not ready. Those VMD machines of theirs, they collapsed around 12 o'clock midday today, the whole country. And what is worse is that even in the collapse, then the IEC themselves, they're saying, no, let's revert to an old way of allowing people to vote by going through the voters' roll and cancelling their names. But their own communication, it was so bad that they even went here to make a press conference. But there are people in the stations, the presiding officers, they were not aware of that. We had to demand communication ourselves, which they sent an SMS, which when we sent to the presiding officers, they said, no, but IEC can't communicate like some tuck shop there with no systems with an SMS. It must be an official communication that we can work on. So they gave us those VMT machines, they completely failed. The IEC must take that responsibility that when it comes to technology, it was a mess. So they failed, and then we had to go resort on going back to the old system of doing things. And that, it did not help because most of the stations, that's why even now, you still got close to 8,000 stations that are still that they are still open. People are still voting. It was worse on other areas. There were people that have been there from 12 o'clock that even now they've still not voted. They are still in the queue. And what maybe we need to bring to the attention of society is that now we were receiving calls of police interfering with the rights of people to vote. IEC released an official statement that everyone who's on the queue will not be turned back. It doesn't matter what time. Now police are interfering in some stations here in Gauteng. And as our understanding, when we say it's an independent electoral commission, it means it's independent of state institutions. No government, there's no police, there's no soldiers, no one can interfere with the IEC. But we are getting that, and we're going to get the report, and we'll put that report to the IEC, our concern, to say why police are stopping people now. If those police are lazy, they let them go home. It's a sign that we've got a lazy police force, but they cannot interfere with the rights of our people to vote. Those that are still in the queues now, they must remain in the queues. Young people that are still in the queues now, don't move. No one must shake you, no intimidation, no police force must move you. It's your democratic right, it's your constitutional right. Make sure that today you get ahead, you put your vote. You must not retreat, you must not surrender in those stations.
We have run out of time, but very quickly, you say that you'll be making some kind of representation to the IEC. And to take from Julius Malema's words as well, he actually urged the IEC to say they can do better. So what will inform this communique that goes to the IEC?
Look, we have spoken to them, and even the decision that no one is going to be moved, we had to sit with the IEC to say, put it down so that it's an official communication, which they've done. And we're still saying to them, do better, because this country as it stands now, it's in the hands of the IEC. If they want to burn this country down, they can make that decision. But as things stand, we are happy with the discipline of the people of this country. They've not fought anyone, they've not fought the officials of the IEC, even during those time of frustrations where presiding officers, they speak to them the way they speak, but because they know the history of this country and they know the importance of this country, that tomorrow must still have a country, next week must still have a country, all the voters, they remain disciplined in all corners, and we appreciate that, and we're still saying to them they must remain disciplined, they must not be agitated by anyone, they must just focus at the goal at hand, which is to vote. And we are there on the ground with our volunteers and everyone to make sure that they are safe, even females. That is, we know it's dark, but we'll make sure that as the EFF will do everything to make sure that everyone, even those who need to go home, they must be taken home safely, because this is it's their constitutional right and they must exercise it, and they must practice restraint and discipline as they've been doing all along during the day.
Marshall, we have run out of time again. I need to emphasize this, but when you look at the performance of the EFF in past elections, one would anticipate that the party itself right now is looking for a decisive victory in these elections. Give us a sense of what you are targeting here.
Exactly as you're saying, a decisive victory. We have been all over the country. We've spoken to our voters.
Provinces or areas that you're looking to get a significant majority?
We're looking at Gauteng. Gauteng, the ANC is going to lose it. We're looking for going for a majority. We're looking for, as you see, Eastern Cape is coming. We're looking for Mpumalanga. We've been official opposition in Mpumalanga. We've been official opposition in Limpopo. We've been official opposition in Northwest. And we hope this time around, those provinces, because we have been official opposition, we can turn them around. So we are fighting everywhere. There's no voter that is not important to the EFF. That's why the president himself, he was all over the country speaking to our voters, young and old, employed and unemployed, those who got land and those who don't have land, and spoken to all of them. So we are hopeful that as the results come, the EFF is going to be victorious, because we are on what is on our mind now is victory, so that finally we can claim this territory of South Africa and make it a liberated zone where our people can benefit in the economy and the resources of this country. So we are confident of the numbers. It's still early days, but you can see the first numbers that are coming up. It's already showing an increase from the previous election of the EFF. But finally, we've got young people in the institutions now of higher learning that are still in the queues. We are calling for police, please exercise maximum restraint, be disciplined, protect those young people. They are there, stop pushing them around, just do your job, allow them to practice, to exercise their constitutional vote to vote. They are still out there in eThekwini, here in UJ, in Vets, Nelson Mandela, they are still there, in Unilim, they are still there, and we want disciplined police. They must not get involved into politics. Allow IEC to do its work, allow the citizens of this country to exercise their constitutional right to vote. So that's what we're calling for now. That's what it's urgent now, that police, please just discipline yourself. Just allow our people to vote. Those are young people. Don't intimidate them. Allow them to vote. All of us as a country have been calling on them to say, stand up, young people. Now they've stood up. We don't want any intimidation. Let them continue voting up until the last vote or the last voter has gone to that station to vote wherever they are.
If you'll indulge me, and I know that we really can't use the sample of the first result coming in as to give us an overall picture of what may come in this election, but this emergence of the MK party, they've actually done quite well in this voting district, getting about 10% of the vote, coming in a third, only after the EFF. Does the emergence of this new party that is the MK even threaten your presence within the political space here?
No, not at all. Look, the MK, they are a new party. We're going to see how they're going to, because the issue is not just being new, it's to sustain this thing. You know that there were new parties before the EFF, but the track record will show you that out of all the new organizations that have been started after 1994, the only one that has demonstrated resilience, demonstrated quality leadership, demonstrated sustainability, it's the EFF. So we'll see MK. We're not bothered about them, because we went to the ground, we spoke to our people, and we are expecting results. So we're not paying attention to them. We are confident of the work that we have done ourselves. There's been new parties before MK, there's been PA, they never bothered us. There's been different political parties, so we are not bothered with about MK. Ours is to remove the ANC. That's our main focus. That's why we're not even bothered about DA. DA, they are currently official opposition, but it ends now. They know that it's done. By the time the last result comes out, we're going to be above DA, because we are chasing number one, and that's the only focus. So we can't be bothered about anything behind us. The only thing that worries us is those that are ahead of us, which is the DA and the ANC. And we're confident that by the time the last vote comes in, we will be above those parties.
Right, unfortunately, that's all the time that we have. Speaking to the EFF's Marshall Dlamini about their reflections on the first result coming out.